What's up everyone, Kaiju no Kami here, and this is going to be my Q&A session number 2. I've got some questions here that people sent me. Not as many as last time, but that's okay. It keeps the video short and hopefully my rambling down to a minimum, so this video doesn't end up being 45 minutes. Because just like last time, I am not going to be editing this, so every pause, every screw up, every cough, every sneeze, whatever, is going to be in this video. So have fun with that. First, I'll start with the name that I butchered last time, and I'm going to butcher again. Aiden de Freta Forrester. It's not even worth me trying. First question he asked is, who is your favorite out of the Space Sheriffs? Gavin, but then that's the one with the most exposure I have. But Gavin's pretty awesome. His actor's awesome. I'm hoping that I can watch Gavin sometime this year so I can review it. So yeah, Gavin. Who's your favorite out of all the other Metal Heroes? B-Fighter Kabuto. I love B-Fighter Kabuto. I haven't seen the first B-Fighter series, but it seems like it's a pretty solid series based on what I've read about it and the images I've seen and screenshots. Well, those are the same as images. But little clips. But I really liked Kabuto, I liked the cast, I love the villains. The villains are awesome in there, especially Raijo. It's been a while since I've watched that show. I watched my Region 2 DVDs for the show about... what? Whoa, has it? No, it hasn't been 10 years. It's been less than 10 years, I think. Were those coming out when I lived in Buffalo? Maybe it has been 10 years since I watched B-Fighter Kabuto. Wow, I need to rewatch that. It'd just be nice if someone would actually fan sub that. But yeah, B-Fighter Kabuto is my favorite. Have you read Spider-Man Deadpool, and if so, what is your opinion on it? By that, I'm assuming you mean the Spider-Man Deadpool crossover comic, because I have a lot of Spider-Man comics here. I think you can see most of them right here. I have not read the crossover. Honestly, I am not the biggest Deadpool fan. I thought he was just... well, back in the 90s, he was just a Deathstroke the Terminator ripoff, literally. And I love the movie. I love concepts of the character. I do find it funny. It's just that I find him to be overdone. I'm kind of bored of Deadpool because everybody idolizes Deadpool. And sometimes it just gets boring after a while. But so, to answer your question, no, I have not read it, and I probably won't anytime soon. And you had one more, because it says, sorry if I'm late, but I have one more question. I've noticed you are a Doctor Who fan. Yes, I am. Will you ever do any Doctor Who reviews, and who is your favorite Doctor? Right now, I have no plans to do any Doctor Who reviews, just because I don't have time for it. Sentai and Toku, the realm of Toku is already a vast sea. That is going to be impossible for me to cover every series as much as I want to. My main goal is to eventually have every Sentai series reviewed. Whether or not that actually is going to happen, I don't know. But that is my goal. And I know I've only done 2 Kamen Rider series and there's a lot more to do. But right now, Sentai is my main focus for Toku. I want to get through as many of those as I can. And then Kamen Rider and Metal Heroes and all that before I really go into Doctor Who stuff. It doesn't mean I won't. I may occasionally review some episodes or maybe my favorites. Maybe do a top 10 Doctor Who episode list. But right now I have no plans to actually review the series. And from my understanding, there are a lot of Doctor Who YouTubers out there that are already covering that material. It's just like with video games, that it would get a little redundant because there's so many other people out there. How can I make my own Doctor Who reviews and video game reviews different from everyone else's? I mean, for video games, you have Jimquisition, you have Angry Joe. So what could I do to differentiate myself from them? That's the biggest factor. Now, I have thought about game reviews with some retro games like Super Metroid, but we'll see what happens. As for my favorite Doctor, well, Tennant is my favorite, and Tom Baker. Blech. Wow, I don't think that came out, but Tom Baker. I like Tom Baker a lot for the original stuff that I've seen. I've seen at least one story for every Doctor. And Tom Baker was my favorite of the originals from the episodes I've watched. His personality is really quirky. He's fun. He's out there. And David Tennant, that man is just a badass. Like, what he did to that blood family in that two-parter was amazing. He's got a dark side to him. And even though he tries not to show it, he has one. And that's what I love about Tennant. Plays it so well. And of course, Blink is my favorite episode of all time. So, and that's a Tennant episode. I really liked Capaldi a lot. I feel like he got gypped because he didn't have the greatest seasons. The writing just wasn't there to fit his doctor, which kind of sucks because he was a great doctor. And the Christmas special they just had was excellent, a great send-off to him. I just wish he got more episodes that really defined his doctor. Because Matt Smith, you had everything with River and dealing with that defined him. David Tennant, of course, as I said, you had the Return of the Cybermen, the Blood Family. Those defined his doctor. Capaldi didn't really get that. Yeah, I mean, his greatest accomplishment was punching a wall for like 4,000 years or 4 million years, whatever it was, with his fists. But what is he really memorable for? Alright, Jared Cheeks. Out of any random crossover you could think of, which would it be and why? I couldn't think of anything better to ask. Well, Jared, random crossover you could think of. Wow. Usually I have all these crossovers in my mind. Actually, it'd be kind of cool to see a Sentai team crossover with, like, some of the superheroes. Maybe have, like, okay, Kamen Rider 5s, for example. They were kind of street-level fights. Have them end up, like, crossing over with maybe the Defenders, that are also street-level heroes. Actually, I would love to see Kamen Rider Ichigo fight Spider-Man. And Batman. You know why. That would be kind of funny. Other crossovers. What other crossovers would I like to see? Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars would be kind of interesting. Let's see. Ghost of the Shell and Blade Runner would be cool. And throw Psycho-Pass in there. Definitely throw Psycho-Pass in there. Another thing, I'd actually like to see a crossover with Tiger and Bunny and... Actually, Tiger and Bunny and the Heroes of Blade. Because since Blade started out as an organization where they were hired to defeat the undead, I'd like to see them cross over with the characters from Tiger and Bunny who are having to have sponsors to take down crime. That could be an interesting set to see. Anything not. Man. What do I really want to see a crossover of? I can't think of anything else. I guess the most exciting one would be the Star Wars meets Guardians of the Galaxy. Although, actually, Darkseid and Thanos. I want to see those two together in a buddy cop, not a buddy cop movie because they're villains, but in like a buddy movie. That would be awesome. And I do like Chris, wow. Now I can't think of his name that plays Captain America. Oh my god. I suddenly can't remember his name. Okay, but I'd like to see the movie he made the joke out of, the Human Torch and Captain America buddy comedy. That would also be pretty funny. Don Depinay. Hey man, I'm a big fan of your videos. Thank you. You are my favorite guy to go to for all things Tokusatsu Kaiju. Thanks again. Keep up the great work. Hopefully I will. I also have a few random questions for you. Alright, so where's the random generator? Oh, they're already on paper. That's not exactly random. Just kidding. A couple of years ago, I got back into Tokusatsu because my 6-year-old took an interest in Power Rangers. I have seen Ju, Dai, Kaku, O, and I'm on episode 32 of Live Man. Do you have any Sentai seasons that you would recommend to watch that you haven't already reviewed? Oh yeah, definitely. Go-Go 5, Time Ranger, definitely check those out. And I'm sure Shout Factory will have at least Go-Go 5 out this year. Next year, because this year's pretty much done in 2 days. But Go-Go 5, Time Ranger, Aba Ranger, stupid planes, Geki Ranger. Geki Ranger is a must-see. That is probably the best Sentai in the last 10 years. That is the last Sentai in the last 10 years. That was 2007 Geki Ranger aired. Okay, let me rephrase that. Geki Ranger is probably the best Sentai show in the last 17 years. But definitely Geki Ranger. The only downside of Geki Ranger is right now the only available fan subs use TV rips from 2007, so those TV rips are pretty awful. Why no one has scrubbed the subs with DVD quality rips, I do not know. It's very frustrating. I don't want to watch Geki Ranger again until I can watch it with good quality fan subs. And when I watch it again, I'm going to review it. I said Aba Ranger, Go Kaiju. You know, and also, I've kind of warmed up to Go Busters over the last few years. Maybe it's just because things have gone downhill since Go Busters with Q Ranger. But Go Busters might be worth checking out. There's a lot of things it tries to do different that I don't think it really got its credit for. And it's one show that I do want to give another chance to at some point. For older shows that I haven't... Well, I'm working on Jetman right now. Jetman's definitely one to watch. I just watched episode 18 last night. So I hope to have that review out, hopefully before Ginga Man. We'll see what happens. Next week, I'm planning to do nothing but play video games and watch The Simpsons. Because I need some time to relax. This has been a really interesting last 2 months. Dynaman, so far it's not complete yet, but I've been enjoying that a lot. So yeah, those are the Sentais I'd recommend that I have not reviewed. Ginga Man as well, of course. I know you love Sentai. Why would you think that? But you very seldom mention Power Rangers. Since most of our means of getting into Sentai was for Power Rangers, do you have a favorite Power Rangers season? Well, yes, and... Boom, boom, boom. I do own this. It's the 20 season Power Rangers set that Shout Factory released. Hey, that's on the wrong way. I have not watched every Power Rangers series. I kind of lost interest in the show after In Space, because to me, In Space felt like a great ending. Everything, that was a great dropping off point. Everything had been concluded, all the plot lines were over. At the time, I was also getting sick of buying new toys every year. Did not realize that I would go back into doing that about 10 years later. So I have not seen... I've seen most of Lost Galaxy, not all of it. I've only seen maybe 2-3 episodes from both Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force. And Wild Force. I started watching the show again back when Ninja Storm was airing, because that's when I got into Sentai. So I started watching the Power Rangers versions to kind of compare them. And then I learned that that probably wasn't the best idea. So but I didn't care for Ninja Storm. I liked Dino Thunder a lot. But my favorites, well, I would have said In Space, but I started rewatching In Space because of Mega Ranger. And I still like In Space, but I don't think it's my favorite anymore. And I haven't seen Jungle Fury or RPM at all. Same with I haven't seen any of, what's the current one? Ninja Steel? I haven't watched any of Ninja Steel, and I watched the first episode of Dino Charge. But I've seen all of Samurai, and I've seen some episodes from Mega Force and a couple from Super Mega Force. But I have not seen anything at all from RPM and Jungle Fury. But my favorite series at this point in time is SPD. This is the problem. Deca Ranger had a lot of interesting ideas, but there were a lot of things I hated in Deca Ranger, such as the lack of a central villain, the fact that they didn't really utilize their ability to travel across planets, except for a couple instances. So what they did with SPD really blew me away because I liked a lot of what they did. They had the central villain. They had them going across different planets at times, a lot more than Deca Ranger did. They actually integrated the alien life, which was nicely done. I prefer the Doggy Kruger costume in SPD, even though he looks more like a lizard than a dog. I do prefer the costume. I feel like SPD really, they went above and beyond what you'd expect from a Power Ranger series. And the Ranger cast was well developed. I loved that they were the B Squad. And even though the A Squad was just repainted in space costumes, I love the whole concept of that A Squad basically disappeared, so B Squad had to take over, and all the growth that they gave the characters. I really enjoyed that, so SPD would be my favorite Power Rangers series. Which do you prefer, Sentai or Power Rangers, and why? Pretty much Sentai, just because I prefer the stories. I find them to not that... well, okay. A lot of the older Sentai series, the 80s and 90s, and early 2000s, it didn't feel like they were down-talking on the child audience. Because, I mean, honestly, these shows are made for kids as their core audience, first and foremost. I don't feel like those shows down-talked on the kids' audience as if they were stupid. These shows today, I think they do. It feels like that they do talk down on them, but I find that, I think Sentai is a lot more enjoyable. I also prefer that because with Mighty Morphin, as cool as it was, it just kept going on and on and on. Oh, another new villain is here. Oh, guess what? Lord Zed is not the actual strongest villain in the galaxy. It's Master Vio. Oh, but we're just kidding now. Master Vio is afraid of the Machine Empire. Oh, the Machine Empire is scared of Divatox. Oh, wait. Turns out that Divatox actually has her own emperor because there is a main emperor who controls all the villains in the galaxy. And his lieutenant is Astronema. What? So I like it better in Sentai that each series is its own universe and you're not having all these villains like, oh no, these villains are more powerful than these ones that you just beat, and these ones are more powerful. So yeah, it's usually, most of the time, the stories are great. Like, Die Ranger, I love. And I have not seen a single Power Ranger series match the fight choreography of Die Ranger. Not at all. And plus, you don't get villains that are as cool as Gasha Skull and Jin in Die Ranger. The villains in Power Rangers, they're cool. Well, except for some of them, like Mr. The Miser Brothers from Operation Overdrive. Ugh. It's just a lot of the villains in Power Rangers are kind of dumbed down from the villains in Sentai, and they're not as well developed. Like the story of Bandora in Zyuranger was incredible. Rita never had that type of depth. Rita was as deep as this sheet of paper. And yeah, it was cool to see these weekly stories. That was awesome. That was my childhood, but I want more story-based series. I'm not saying every episode has to add on to the bigger plot. I'm not expecting that. I don't want that. I do want standalone episodes every now and then. But with Sentai, you got a combination of both. You had standalone stories, and then you'd have big overarching stories. And that's what I like. That's why I prefer Sentai over Power Rangers. Now, I do think the storytelling in Power Rangers, wow, improved at times, because they did start doing the overarching stories when they started doing, each series was its own standalone season. But that's mostly why I prefer Sentai. And again, they don't dumb down things. People can actually die. People can actually get hurt. The suits, in some series, the suits are there to act as protection, but they're not 100% protection. Like, Power Ranger was the first Sentai series I actually watched, and it was pretty shocking to see how different that series was compared to what I had seen in Power Rangers. Alright, thank you so much for your time. Have a good day. You have a good day too. Chandler Chamberlain. What are your favorite moments from the Godzilla series, and what is your relationship with Cruella Kane? Okay, what are my favorite moments from the Godzilla series? Do you mean the animated TV series, or just the entire franchise as a whole? Alright, well, I'm going to assume you mean like the entire franchise as a whole, which is good because I don't really remember too much on the cartoon series, other than what I mentioned in my video 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. My April Fool's video that some people took seriously for some reason. Let's see. Well, some of my favorite scenes from that. Mothra fighting Godzilla in the '64 movie. The way they pulled off Mothra with everything, the wings and everything, that was really well done. And I love the scene when Godzilla first comes out of the ground in that movie. One of my favorite Godzilla introductions. I love the spy plot to Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. And the battle's pretty cool despite all the wire work being able to be seen these days. Or I guess it's four-way battle. Whatever. In GMK, I love how everything feels grounded. Like, one of my favorite scenes in that movie, well, every scene that has Godzilla in that is my favorite movie, but one of my favorite scenes is when Godzilla shoots a plane and we actually see the wreckage of the plane just fly down to the ground, and one of the pieces crashes into a house. That was pretty awesome. That's what a highlight to me in GMK. And then the other scene when Godzilla is firing at Mothra, and Mothra goes towards the building and flies up, and you see the soldiers from the windows inside the building looking at this as the beam just comes up, and then you just cut to the top of the building being blown up. That's a pretty awesome scene of mine. The Kiryu Godzilla fights in both Kiryu movies are really awesome. Probably some of the best melee battles, period, in the Godzilla franchise. When Mechagodzilla when they first revealed that the Godzilla clone is actually Mechagodzilla in the '74 movie. King Caesar's fight with Mechagodzilla. Let's see, other favorite scenes from Godzilla. I love the different cities attack in Destroy All Monsters. Oh, and then in Terror of Mechagodzilla, when Godzilla's standing there in the city with Titanosaurus and the camera starts moving around them, that's pretty awesome. In the '84 movie, I love when Godzilla just first shows up in the fog. The fight with Biollante at the end of Godzilla vs. Biollante is pretty badass. And Godzilla's first attack in Hong Kong in Destroya. Let's see, what else do I love? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I love the fights in Final Wars, especially when Godzilla fights Kaiser Ghidorah. That's a pretty awesome fight, especially because of its music. Yeah, I think those are all the ones that come to me off the top of my head. I know there's more, I just can't think of them right now. Oh, wait, actually, another favorite scene. Taco in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Every scene with Taco is amazing. What is your relationship with Cruella Kane? I think you can figure it out. We've been together for, whoa, now my brain's not working. Almost 17 years. Storymaker2 asks, if you can create your own Sentai, what would it be like? Heroes, villains, themes. Okay, well, one thing I would love to see a Sentai series do is a marine-based theme. Like like maybe doing a military theme where they're Marines or something, but they have like submarines, Navy vessels for their mechs. The villains be like some type of demonic fire tribe that want to basically burn the world and turn it into a giant desert. Not aliens, an actual demonic race. They could be from another dimension, but I want to have them, yeah, evil fire tribe of demons fighting rangers. But this is how I want it to play out. Wow, actually, I guess aliens could work. But here's the one thing that I would love to see with my Sentai show. I would plan it for a 2-year series. 2 years. Year number 1, we have the building of the characters, the building of the villains, the building of the world. Maybe halfway through the series, one of the Rangers dies to show that anyone can die. Anyone. So then, at the end of the series, of year 1, the villains find a new power source. They overpower the Rangers. A couple more Rangers die. So let's say the team starts out as 5. 1 dies. That's 4. We have our 6th Ranger comes in. That's 5 again. 3 more Rangers die, leaving 2. Those 2, this is at the end of the series. Those 2 are sent off of Earth, spread across the galaxy, separate across the galaxy, or 3 of them. You can do 3 of them. No, you don't have to kill off 3. You can kill off 2 and keep 3. So they're sent to different sides of the galaxy, and they have to travel. In the next show, they gain new abilities on different planets, and they have to travel back to Earth with their new powers to take on the villains. So the first half of year 2 is them space traveling. They can meet, say a few episodes in, they end up meeting with each other, finding each other, and then they make their way back across the galaxy to Earth, and the second half of year 2 is back to them using their new powers to take out the villains. They gain new Rangers, of course, along the way, and they have to fight to free the Earth. Think of kind of what the last 2 episodes to O Ranger did, but as a full-length series. That would be kind of my theme. I would start it out, yeah, marine-based military show. Then it becomes, for year 2, it becomes kind of a mythological, ancient power show as each Ranger gains abilities from whatever planet they're on. And then the new Rangers that come in are from those planets. That's how I would do a new Sentai show. It's something I would like to see done because it's something that hasn't been done before. Yeah, it means killing off characters, which sometimes can feel like it's being done just for the sake of it. But in this case, I would do it as it's part of the story. It advances the story for these characters to die. And the other Rangers are sent away or flee Earth, are transported off of Earth against their will, whatever the case. I'd probably have it that they had to flee Earth or they were all going to die. And then they go and get new powers and go from there. Confusing? It sounded a lot cooler when I've had this idea for years. Now that I'm trying to actually speak it out, for some reason I can't exactly say what I'm trying to say. But that's essentially what I would do for my new Sentai series. It's a very complex show, but as I said, it'd be a 2-year-long show. You still get 2 different gimmicks and everything for over the course of 2 years, and it's just some of the characters return or stick through both shows. It's the villains for both shows, except for when they get their upgrade. So yeah, that would be my Sentai show. Water-themed, military. That'd be cool. I seriously, why has Toei not done an aqua-based show? I know they had the air carrier in Bulkinger, but why? But that wasn't just like water-based for the entire series. Why have they not done that yet? They've done dinosaurs 3 times. They've done cops a couple of times. Why no water-based stuff? You could even do, like, if you want to do, you could have like a shark, dolphin, whale, narwhal. Heck, have a narwhal. That'd be kind of interesting. That could be the arm, and it's on the horn, or its bony nose could be its sword. But yeah, water-based. I hope that answers your question. That is pretty much all the questions I have for this round. What time are we at? 32 minutes. Not as bad as last time. We're about 15 minutes shorter. So thank you all for your questions. If you have more questions, again, send them to me, kaijunokami@gmail.com. You can message them on Facebook. Did I forget to look at Facebook for the questions? Hopefully I got everyone's questions on here that asked me them. If not, resend them to me and I'll do that in my next Q&A video, which will be in a few months. I'm hoping not to take 6 months to do another Q&A video, but we'll see what happens. It's been kind of a busy time. Very busy and depressing, but whatever. Look forward to my worst and best movies of 2017 lists, Jetman hopefully next month, and hopefully War of the Gargantuas. Until then, bye.